What's up, y'all? TCG here, back with another video. Today I got for you the OP12 leader reviews. I'm just going to talk about my first impression of these OP12 leaders. I think I should scale back some of my delivery on the leaders. I don't want to be too overzealous and hyperbolic about how I want to describe these leaders. So I'm gonna do a star rating, so like on a scale of 1 through 5, where I think these leaders are, just off of first impression, not really based on any potential support. I'm doing it purely on the leader in sort of a vacuum and how good I think their leader ability is just at a base package, as well as in their colors, and maybe I'll talk about like potential synergies, right? But we'll see. First of the new leaders, we got Silver's Rayleigh. He's a mono red leader, 5 life, 5k power. His tag is former Roger Pirates, and his leader ability reads, per the rules, you cannot have cards with 5 cost or greater in your deck. And then his actual ability, activate main. Once per turn, you may reveal 2 event cards from your hand. Give up to one of your opponent's characters with a base power of 4,000 or less, plus 2k power for this turn. So just off of a first impression, I think this is like my first time like actually reading this leader. I read it before, but I was like glancing over it and I thought it did something completely different. But you show your opponent 2 bricks and then you give one of your weenies plus 2k power, and you can't run any top end. In a vacuum, this leader sucks, bro. I know I said I wasn't gonna be like too facetious or over the top, but bro, what is that? So first, you need like really good events to justify it, and then your opponent knows what's in your hand, so they're gonna play around it. You know, you reveal to your opponent that you have like Rad Beam and Mole Pistol or Guard Point or whatever. They don't know what defensive events you have. The offensive events, they can't really play around them unless they have cards like Tashigi or Rosinante or some other like anti-removal cards. And then the payoff for that is giving a weenie plus 2k power. So you turn a 4k power unit into a 6k power unit. And there's also once per turn. Yeah, I'm not really seeing it here with this leader. It's very difficult to call this leader, good. One of the reasons why I don't want to, go super all in and put all of my chips on is what happened with Nami, where her leader ability read like crazy, but she's getting meddling results. And that's not really a fault of her and her leader ability. That's just like the metagame around her. I think that's an opinion that I've seen online that I resonate with, whereas she has a good leader abilities, it just isn't the right format for her. She just doesn't have good matchups, so it is what it is. And I don't think that's true for Rayleigh. I just think it might be like the inverse case, where like his leader ability is really bad, but for some reason his deck and his package just works in the meta, or maybe he just gets some busted support. But right now, as he stands, like just based off generic leader ability, I don't know, this guy's like a 1 out of 5 for me. He's a 1 out of 5. Next leader, Kuzan, mono blue leader, 5 life, 5,000 power, navy. When your navy type abilities cause you to trash cards from hand, draw a number of cards equal to the amount discarded. So basically, whenever you use your blue navy cards to pitch, you get those cards right back. I don't want to glaze, bro, but 5 stars. 5 stars. 5 big booms. bro is kind of nutty even without support, right? We only have, I think, 2 blue navy cards that force you to pitch. Those being the 5 cost Suru 2k, as well as the 8 cost Aramaki blocker. The Suru 2k has an alright effect. I'll probably put it on the screen. Its effect is you discard 2 cards on play, and then your opponent chooses a card to return to their hand. So on like a 1 card board state, it answers whatever your opponent has, unless you're playing into like Blackbeard or something, right? That Suru, like a little off topic, but that Suru also has a pretty I think a little off topic, but that Suru might have an interesting interaction with the 3-cost Tashigi. So like if your opponent has Smoker Tashigi on board, you play your Suru, they choose to return the Smoker, I think you could just tap your Tashigi, you know, because Tashigi just protects against removal. So, you know, you lose value there, and that's just Tashigi doing Tashigi things. However, you still do get to, you know, trash and draw cards. So being able to just filter your hand repeatedly, see new cards, and, you know, draw into potential answers is, I think it's just really good on a leader. He was pretty reminiscent of Boa from OP07, in which whenever she has 5 or less cards in hand, whenever she removes an opponent's character, she draws a card. And her leader ability is pretty strong. It's just that her base support is not that good and not that synergistic with her leader ability, right? So, you know, she's just an example of a leader with probably arguably like a 4 to 5 star ability, just because theoretically you can just keep hand advantage or stay hand neutral whenever you're removing opponent's thing. It's just that you aren't really super good on the board, right? Whereas if this Kuzan gets, he already has a 5-star ability because he just gets to see 2 cards a turn. Remember like when Sokka did that and people weren't happy? Or people loved playing him, but when blue-black Sokka was able to see multiple cards a turn because of his leader ability, just discarding and drawing, that worked out pretty well from him, you know, along with the fact that he was a blue-black leader and had access to like near infinite removal. So I know I said I wouldn't be really be talking about support, but I think, you know, this Kuzan's pretty nutty, and the only thing support can do is just let him down because he's at a really good baseline. They just have to give him good cards. Or decent cards. All right, last leader I got for you today. It is Roanoa Zoro, green leader, 5 life, 5k power, supernova, straw hat crew. His ability reads Dawn ×3, activate main once per turn. If this leader has battled a character this turn, set this leader as active. Then for the rest of the turn, this leader cannot attack characters with an original cost of 7 or less. So he's very reminiscent of the starter deck kid. I think it's like STO2 starter deck green kid, where he activate main, rest 3 Dawn, trash a card from hand, restand this leader. But the advantage is you get to have this Dawn on your leader. The disadvantage is that you have to commit your attack into a character first, as opposed to being able to go face twice like with the green kid leader. I still think this restriction doesn't hinder him too much, because green is like the fair color and it likes to fight for board the traditional way. Your leader basically being able to swing into characters for free is really good, right? Because a lot of the times you want to be, you know, committing your Dawn to swing into characters anyway. It's good that you can swing into a character and then untap your leader and then swing into face or swing into another character. You know, imagine playing this against this leader against Bonnie. They play a searcher on 2 Dawn, you're on 3 Dawn, you swing into that Bonnie character that they just tapped, and then you untap your leader and you swing 8 at face. I think that's a pretty strong turn, and that also negates like Bonnie's safety, because those tap searchers are like pseudo blockers, you know. And I think this leader can just get a whole bunch of value throughout the course of the game by just being able to swing 8 into characters, you know. He is also, he's a leader, so he can't be removed. You can nerf him with certain cards that like punish like attacking strength, but I think at a baseline, this leader's like, I think this leader's like 4 stars, 4.5 stars, almost a 5-star leader. He's a supernova leader, which in the past they've gotten great support in Cavendish. That's all I can really think about is like Cavendish, Uroge, you know, other Dawn cheating cards. Being a green leader, he has access to one of the best cards in the game, Odie Jones. Yeah, like imagine this leader swinging 8 into your blocker, untapping, or not into your blocker, but another thing is blockers count, like him swinging into a blocker also activates his leader ability. So he can swing 8, you know, you'll give him a blocker, untap himself, swing 8 again, play Hody Jones. Or like, it's just very crazy. Whereas like sometimes when in the green mirror, quote unquote, whenever Bonnie's playing another green deck and they know they have access to Hody Jones, Bonnie will leave up like 2 Dawn and a blocker. So now you have to choose, you know, do you tap the Dawn, do you tap the blocker, or they'll have like 2 Dawn and 2 blockers. Now I can play Hody Jones, tap both your Dawns, put the rest of the Dawns on my leader, swing 8 at you, you block, I untap my leader, swing 8 at you, you have no Dawn to rest anything, and then I swing another 8 at you. You know, plus we're like, oh, this is OP12. I know here in the States, or not even the States, I know everywhere, we're gonna be getting this after the green Bonnie starter deck, so that may just have more Supernova support. I don't know if they're gonna leader lock some of the stuff to Bonnie, but I said I wasn't gonna talk much about support. I was gonna talk about the leaders at a baseline. But you know, when you start talking about things, you get excited, you just start cooking. I think it's clear to see that this is like my favorite leader so far out of the 3. I told myself I'm gonna be riding green purple Luffy till the wheels fall off, pause. But I plan on playing a lot of green purple Luffy, and I wouldn't mind playing this leader every now and then, you know. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for my leader reviews. If you guys want a fast recap, Rayleigh for me is like 1 out of 5. I don't think his ability is just good at a baseline. He's really gonna need some good support to have him do anything. Kuzan, I think he has one of the better leader abilities, just being, because One Piece is a game about resources and card advantage. Him being able to, he's still -1 because the cards you play, it doesn't net you any new cards. However, he's just playing these, he has the ability to play such strong removal cards, potentially strong removal cards for no cost, you know. Kuzan, like I said, almost 5 stars, but honestly 5 stars feels like glazing. I'm a hater. I'm gonna put it at 4 stars. And then Zoro, 4.5 stars, like 4.5 stars. He's my favorite leader out the bunch so far. I think his ability is really cool. Being able to just swing for free for 8K feels really cool. And green is actually like a good color. It's gotten way better, because like green has been like, they've just been stealth buffing the color for multiple sets now, and him being a Supernova leader as well pays dividends. So we're gonna see. I'm not really gonna do too much OP12 content and like speculation. The bans in OP10 have, you know, made me pretty happy actually. This format was going to be very sleep had nothing changed, and now things have changed, so that's a plus, I guess. Anyway, off topic. This is like my 3rd time signing off. Peace, y'all.